if we were in a world where there were no boundaries and no rules. Imagine if there was no traffic police, there were no guards, there was nobody really setting the rules, telling us what to do. There would be utter chaos, right? If you want to know more about boundaries, there is another video that I've posted in depth about it. In this particular video, all I'm doing is talking about all the boundaries that I have for my child, and I've had them for a while, but I'm just going to tell you the current scenario. Hi parents, I'm Ankita, blending Montessori, neuroscience, music, and positive parenting to help you follow the lead of your amazing child from day one to forever. I have a 5.5-year-old, and of course, there are a lot of boundaries that we have set for her. Boundaries are there to keep our children safe. Imagine if we were in a world where there were no boundaries and no rules. Imagine if there was no traffic police, there were no guards, there was nobody really setting the rules, telling us what to do. There would be utter chaos, right? This is exactly what happens to a child when they are left without any boundaries, which is why setting up boundaries is really important. If you want to know more about boundaries, there is another video that I've posted in depth about it. In this particular video, all I'm doing is talking about all the boundaries that I have for my child, and I've had them for a while, but I'm just going to tell you the current scenario. The first boundary that we have is that she is not allowed in the front seat of the car. Now, why is that? There is a reason why children are not supposed to be in the front seat. Do you know what that reason is? Do you know that if a car hits you from behind, no matter how safely you're driving, if the airbag opens, it's going to crush the child's entire skeletal system from the front. So, one of the most important safety things that we do is the child is at the back seat. Now, of course, we have a booster seat for our child, so she sits on it and puts the seat belt. We are still encouraging her to put the seat belt every single time. We've just introduced the booster seat to her, but she's no longer allowed in the front seat. And it doesn't matter if she's going out in somebody else's car or with other people, she's always in the back seat. We also had a little accident once where literally the other passenger went flying in the air and she didn't, because she was nicely belted. So that really ensured that she's more focused about it and chooses her seatbelt. Now she's more focused, she chooses her booster seat. It comes with a little height so they can have a good view outside the window too. So please do introduce your children to this. It's only for safety reasons. The second boundary that we have is all her toys and materials belong in her room. We have a dedicated space for our child. If she's playing with her toys and materials, we encourage her to play in the room. If it's outdoor materials, she can take it outside. If she's doing art under the sun, that's totally fine. She has to bring them back. Sometimes she also carries games and books to engage with her grandparents. We always encourage her to bring them back so she knows there is a place for everything, and we encourage everything to be in its place. That also creates order, and it creates less chaos when we are trying to find something which probably might have been otherwise lost. We don't have any TV time from Monday to Friday. Now, this is not something my daughter's happy about, but she has to deal with it. There is absolutely zero screen time from Monday to Friday, unless, of course, she's video calling my parents, her grandparents, and cousins. There is only TV time allowed on a big TV, sitting with an adult on Saturday and Sunday, and that is also limited to only 15 minutes per day. And she's not allowed to watch each and everything. We select what she's going to watch, and she has a variety of options to choose from, and then she chooses and she watches that. Now, why is there no screen time on weekdays allowed? Because I just felt that after coming back from school was her TV time, and I often saw that she was just super excited about TV time, and she would often just come back and forget everything else. And honestly, just by withdrawing screen, we saw a huge benefit. I mean, I really didn't think 15 minutes a day would make so much of difference, but even removing that little 15 minutes has made a huge difference, because now she's not even looking for that screen as an escape or anything else. She's engaging on her own. She's totally enjoying her time screen free. She's happy to do other stuff. Another screen time rule that we have is no screen times an hour or two before bedtime. You know that phones emit blue light, which actually block melatonin. It basically tricks our body into thinking that it's daytime, and then falling asleep is a lot harder. Our bedtime is anywhere between 7 to 7:45, which basically means from 5 o'clock onwards, there are no screens that's available to her. Another phone related rule that we have is that she's not allowed to pick up anybody's phone without asking for their permission, even if she has to pass it on or open it to maybe take a picture or whatever it is. She has to take permission before a phone is being used by her in any capacity. Now, this is not a boundary, this is a good habit, but we encourage daily fruits and vegetables. In fact, when my daughter sits to eat, the first thing that's offered in her plate is vegetables for lunch and for dinner. And I think that makes a huge difference. Also, it's great for the gut to begin with veggies. Now, we are a bit crazy about bedtime in this household, which means we follow a very consistent routine. We do dinner anytime between 5:30 to 6, and then or even earlier if possible. Honestly, 5 is my ideal time for dinner. And then there is a little bit of outdoor time, there's a massage, there's a lot going on. Anyway, there will be a separate video on bedtime altogether. But what we basically do is encourage our child to sleep on time during school days. There is zero possibility of sleeping late Monday to Thursday. Maybe on Friday and Saturday she's allowed to delay it by half an hour, but that's pretty much it. If she really has delayed bedtime, then she has to make sure that she's sleeping a little earlier the following days to make up for the lack of sleep. Also, then we encourage sleeping in the next day. But honestly, sleeping in doesn't work. We encourage her to be awake by 7:30 max, even on holidays, because then the circadian rhythm sets in really well. Now, this is a boundary I have: kind words only. If you're demanding, if you're going to be shouting, nothing is going to be handed over to you. There is always a nicer way to say it. So we all try to use kind words in the house, and that's something we reinforce even with our daughter. Now, reading is something I encourage daily. It could just be 5 words, it could be 2 lines, it could be a page, depending on how long she's interested. Now, this is also not a boundary, it's a good habit, but basically there are things linked to each other, right? If you want to go outside and have a play date with your neighbor, finish your reading and go, So there are few things that she has to do, and then it follows with the other fun stuff. Now, boundary on sugar. She's only allowed to have sugar twice a week. Now, that sugar can be a pan au chocolat, it could just be a Nutella bread, it could just be anything that has sugar / jaggery, but she's only allowed twice a week. The only thing I'm not too crazy about are nut butters, because I feel almond butter, even if it has a pinch of jaggery, it's okay for me. But anything that has too much sugar still counts as sugar. So if she's had that, then it naturally means she's only got one more time left to enjoy her chocolate, or one more round is left for her. So that's pretty much what we do: sugar twice a week. And it's just not just her, it's also us, me and my husband, who follow this. So now this is a boundary. No means no. If I say no to climbing on me, if I say no to throwing, if I say no to something that you're doing which is unsafe, no means just stop right now, don't do anything, listen and stop. No is usually preserved for safety related situations in my house, but no means no, especially when it comes to body consent. If she says no to tickling, we just stop right there. Now, my house is an independent house, and in a second she can be out on the road. Now, this is a boundary we have, that she's allowed to play on the road. She can cycle, she can play with her scooter, she can run around, but there has to be one adult supervising her. It's just that simple. The latch is at her level, but we've always encouraged her to inform an adult, have someone watch over her, and then she can step out. Another rule that we have is no eating with screens. No matter how desperate the situation is, no matter what part of the world we are in, there is no food and screen combination that is going to happen. If at all, because of my situation at home, she has ended up watching a screen because of eating, then there's literally a lecture that I give her about it, which I'm not proud of. But yeah, eating with screens is not something I want to start in my house. It's a bad dissociation, and I really don't want to get her used to that. So that's something we've actively avoided. Now, like reading is a habit that we encourage, just like that. Again, not a boundary, but a good habit that we have is that she's required to indulge in daily exercising. Now, that exercising could just be jumping jacks and doing her yoga, or it could be tennis or any outdoor games. But daily outdoor time is mandatory for Aish. And we try to keep her outdoor time at a minimum of 1.5 hours daily. And there are days when it even goes up to 2 to 3 hours. And trust me, those are the best days that we have. So these are just a few of the rules and boundaries that we have. I would love to know what are the boundaries you have. If you live in a joint family, I do understand boundaries can get tricky. But hey, I live in a joint family. If I can do it, you can do it too. So let me know in comments what are the boundaries that you're setting. And if you like this video, please hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and I cannot wait to share more content with you. Happy parenting.